To change lives, we not only look at people that haven't had access, but we look at people that haven't been optimized. Well, the truth is that we haven't optimized finances for probably but 5 or 6% of the total global population. So how do fintechs in different, 12 or 15 areas actually help banking? Well, they help banking by changing the value proposition that banking delivers in the first place.
It's customer advocacy. That's what we're lacking, right? So instead of pushing products, actually looking at how a consumer's life is today and what it is that they need. Not your traditional, current account, not your traditional savings account. The way you earn a living has changed. It's not so much so you have a stable job with a every other week paycheck that's coming in. You have uneven income. You have probably uneven expenses from children tuition to saving for your own retirement, to your parents when they get older, to their grandparents caring for them from the healthcare, from a housing perspective. And so I would challenge, if the way we're earning a living is different, if the way we're living is different, why is it that we are still thinking about money the same? Why aren't we changing the relationship with money? So that's where technology becomes interesting. That's where you can rethink your business model and your solution offering. So for example, how do I go about planning finances for multiple households? Is that where data analytics can come into play? Is that we can use technology such as artificial intelligence to help you not just provide better insights based on your history, but also forecast into your future what you might need, what your extended families might need, and then how do you go about getting there?
Promise of open banking to a high street bank is a degradation of their relationship with the customer. To a fintech, it's an inroad into a relationship, and to a tech provider, it's a way to take more data in, understand and profile a customer, and further entrench them into the ecosystem themselves. So the question will be, which provider will actually offer more value in exchange for that data, and which will consumers draw to more? And it's likely the one that will be more convenience, lower fees, higher efficiencies, more day-to-day integration with the rest of what they do. So of the institutions that are actually heavily investing in partnering, see how many of them actually don't just do it for lip service and do it to actual customers. Those are the ones that I think are going to not just take the experimentations, but they're going to learn from that and then deploy it at mass scale. I think the lesson here for any of the big bank brands, regardless of where and what market, is not just how quickly you're learning and partnering and deploying, but how are you changing your customer value proposition to do more than take, to do more than profit off of the same type of siloed businesses that you've always done, and actually take a longer term view and take on some loss for a while, much like in the way that Amazon has started businesses. I mean, AWS was an efficiency play. AWS was something that was for them that turned into one of the most profitable businesses. What can a bank do within the outskirts of financial services that's tangential enough and within their walls where they could say, look, we could be really good at this. Let's play for a couple years, learn from our customers how they like a particular service, and then deploy across their network. That's why it's advantageous for a global bank to be able to deploy their 100, 150 million, almost 200 million customers in some case, the ability to test, learn in these small marketplaces through partners. And that's what they're doing.
In the past, we always talk about Asia copying the West, in terms of what we're doing, but I would say the table is flipped right now. If you look at how they are doing payments, for example, QR code is nothing new, but what they managed to do is they take something that's existing and then create value for customers and make things easier and more convenient. You look at the platform play that a lot of the big companies are doing in Asia, right? We call them the super apps, the Gojek, the Grab of the world, and all of those. They start out with addressing a specific need that consumers have, and then understanding, like what Brett was saying, understanding the market, understanding the needs of those consumers, and then expanding into financial services, expanding into providing them with the ability to do payments, and all of those different pain points that sole proprietors and small business are facing. And so that's how they've been able to grow.
Well, and like Paytm and like others are taking the Alibaba model and they're actually bringing it in. And for hundreds of millions of people, they're allowing the initial, person-to-person payment and eventual person-to-merchant payment be sort of the building block, or eventual rails will be built across all, so that everything and every merchant is connected. So it's a replication of what we're seeing in Asia across all of the world. And every single player, from Facebook with Libra and with Chase and all of their different entrant points into the payment system, it's really an acknowledgement of the fact that payments really are greasing the wheel for every other sort of customer value prop that's centered around it. And this idea is that we are all connected digitally, and eventually this data will be able to be optimized. That, I think, is the biggest thing that's lacking, is the fact that there's no acknowledgement that incrementally, on a daily basis, we can make subtle changes to every level of consumer and business for their finances to be managed better. Today, we have a private banking system and a wealth management system that is geared toward the top 5 or 6% of wealthy clients that are profitable. What's the mind shift change when artificial intelligence and machine learning can be taught to optimize daily spend or daily investment opportunities, or attack something like that subscription economy that we talked about, in order to say, there's a better way, there's a better deal, there's a better facilitation of day-to-day finances? And that's what we're lacking, and that's what we don't look at long-term enough, is to facilitate a shift in the way that value is derived from financial services to customers to optimize. Or would you rather have an algorithm telling you every single day that it saved you or made you money? And that's kind of what I would say about it, is, it's an industry that today still continues to take profit rather than give profit. It's a value proposition that is about how much value I could derive from you, not how much value I could derive for you. That, to me, is the biggest opportunity, along with a long-term view, that the industry needs to shift, or we will completely give up and recede the relationship entirely to a big tech and a series of platforms that banking itself will not be a part of at all.